So after jacking off to Keanu Reeves and Master Chief during Xbox's E3 showcase,
Oh, really about to get your pickle chin that boy?
I wanted to see what Bethesda had to say for itself after its travesty you would call Fallout 76. If you're a gamer and you haven't heard of this game, you may have been living under a rock, or you just simply don't care. Anyway, E3 2018 was a trip to say the least. You know, with Battlefield Vagana and COD Black Ops 4, I wasn't looking forward to getting an FPS in the coming months. That is, up until Todd Howard came out on stage and announced Fallout 76. I was hyped. I pre-ordered the game, anticipating the beta, and my girlfriend bought me a shirt for Christmas before the game even came out. Yeah, she learned her lesson. Anyway, the beta arrived 2 weeks before the game release, with only 2-hour sessions at a time, mind you. And thankfully, I was able to play it. I experienced bugs and glitches like everyone else, but you know, it's Bethesda. Fallout 4 had glitches too, and I still enjoyed that. And personally, I enjoyed the beta. Videos came out from YouTubers all around the community, so I waited to buy the game. And I am so glad I didn't jump the gun and waste my money.
16 times the detail.
More like 16 times derailed. This year for E3, Todd Howard came on stage with his jawline and said a bunch of buzzwords that got all the fanboys cheering.
An incredibly exciting year at Bethesda Game Studios. Given some of that excitement, impressed you're still here.
Holy shit! He's so funny! I'm gonna buy 2 copies right now! A new game mode was announced, and plans were discussed for later this year. And on top of that, Bethesda thought they could get some sales by making the game free for 7 days after E3. Well, it worked. I bought the game, but the GameStop guy was so sick to see me the next week. So let me tell you how this little adventure went. I think it would be appropriate to start with the new game mode they added, being it's new and the main reason why the game was free for a week in the first place. That new game mode is called Nuclear Winter. Can you guess what that could be? Oh, look, another battle royale. Because the fanbase totally wanted this first. The last time I played Fallout 76 was when the beta happened, and that was 8 months prior to the free week. And I'm not kidding when I say within literally my first hour of playing this mode, I won my first game, and then I never touched it again. The only thing I enjoyed out of this mode was seeing the weapons that could potentially be yours for when you play the adventure part of the game. Other than that, I did not enjoy my time in Nuclear Winter mode. I've seen other games do it better, and frankly, I think Bethesda really wasted their time and resources with this mode when they could have delivered something else. Cough, cough, NPCs. After that, I hopped into the actual game and was very pleased to pick up where I left off 8 months ago with the rushed, thoughtless character I made. I proceeded to do the event I was doing during the beta, completed that, and was annoyed to see the same event pop up 5 minutes later. I left that location, went to another, cleared it out, decided to take a nap, almost got killed in my sleep, and made that bitch regret it. I then found a place to set up a base and I started to build. In Fallout 4, my mango was to build up every settlement in the game, and I made Sanctuary look so fucking good. It was my favorite thing to do, and I could hop back in today and spend countless hours again. But instead, it feels like it's been downgraded so much. Even though there was a lot of red outlines around objects you could build in Fallout 4, there was still the exploits and tricks you could do to work around most of its issues and make your settlements look the way you wanted them to look. But in Fallout 76, there's so many restrictions that just pissed me off. I thought this game was centered around rebuilding Appalachia. How the hell am I supposed to do that when I see nothing but red? Not to mention, you don't start out with that many objects available to build until you delve deeper into this trash pile of a game and collect plans that you read, and they unlock guns and camp items. Also, I forgot to blueprint everything I built, so I lost it all and I didn't touch the settlement building stuff again after that. I then doubled back to the vault because I started encountering level 22s when I was a level 7, and I started exploring from there on out. And I have to admit, I was having fun looting junk and weapons, reading notes, and discovering new areas, but all that was cut short when I discovered the town of Flatwoods. I absolutely hate the no human NPC thing. I mean, no humans at all other than the other players thing. And nothing could change my mind the rest of my time playing. The town of Flatwoods is where you're supposed to learn how to cook and boil water by doing quests from a new faction called the Responders. But they're all dead, so it doesn't even matter. You can find their holotapes scattered all throughout the town, and you can listen to them to learn about who they were and what they did. But if you had friends that played Fallout 76 with you, which I didn't, then you would know that with the fights happening and the intense music and them talking, you wouldn't even be able to hear the holotape in the first place. Hey, guys, talk real quick.
Oh, so he eats steak now. I'm on the spot. I don't like it.
My ass did too.
But then again, like I said, it doesn't even matter because they finito. You can already infer that either Raiders or the Scorched wiped them out. And don't worry, I'll get to them here shortly. I couldn't help to imagine how much cooler this could have been if there was people you could relate to in this town that teach you how to cook and boil the water themselves while they vent about their 20-year struggle since the bombs fell. Instead, we get terminals and holotapes all the frickin' time. And it's not that I have a low attention span. I love reading terminals and holotapes. In fact, the Motherlode quest was very fun to delve into, and the other Fallout games did the same type of shit. So what's the problem now? Well, the problem now is that, for one, that's mostly what you do throughout this game, and two, Bethesda changed the lore of the Fallout universe to cater to this game. And yes, I know they have the right to do that, but you have a job as a game studio to figure out ways to create new stories and new experiences, especially AAA studios. And keeping factions in for no reason other than to give us more enemies to fight is just lazy. It's not like these changes make the story or game any better. And with this game out now, I'm pretty sure we're stuck with Fallout 76 being canon. Here's a tip. How about you put standard raiders in the game before you even consider to put the Brotherhood of Steel or super mutants in it? But forgive me if I'm wrong. Maybe there is text in the game that justify the decisions, but I just couldn't do it. This game is so damn boring. The Scorched are no better. They are by far the worst enemy to fight in the game. I think these are the guys that center around the main plot, which is the Overseer's journey, which I didn't finish, so I'm not entirely sure, and I'll get to that later. But these guys are literally raiders that growl. They originate from the Scorch Beast, and so do the ash remains you see around the world, the ones that dissipate after you interact with them. But that doesn't make sense either, because you can find them inside buildings as well. I don't know, I didn't play long. If I'm wrong, let me know. Anyway, the Scorched are so boring to fight and not satisfying to kill at all. They really feel like they've been plopped into the universe just for you to shoot at. And what pisses me off the most about all this is that there's no Raider enemies in the game, when you can find countless dead Raider bodies at multiple locations. I also noticed that it seems like every time the Scorched would have a melee weapon, it would never match whatever was in the inventory when they died. The main story in this game is you following the Overseer's journey, and that journey is her going to places she remembers back before the bombs fell and leaving a holotape behind explaining why she's even there in the first place and like how she's feeling and stuff. But a lot of the times I didn't even hear her holotapes because of the whole fighting thing. And also I was kind of rushing through it because I wanted to get to the end, and then all the map markers just stopped showing up, so I ended up losing track of where to go, so I never got to finish that. But the whole time I didn't even care in the first place, so yeah. I can tell you something that has improved from the last game though, and that's the creatures you fight. I always felt like Fallout 4 lacked the variety in its creatures compared to the previous games, and I always loved mods that add enemies to both Skyrim and Fallout. And there's some big motherfuckers out there in Appalachia, and I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface when it comes to that. Seeing a dragon... Oh! Shoot, wrong game. Seeing a Scorch Beast for the first time was very intimidating, and I regret not fighting one, but in all honesty, it's probably just the same as the Skyrim dragons. Now, I don't know how rare this guy is, but I even encountered the Mothman, and that moofok almost made me shit my pants.
What the hell is this?
Run! Run! I'm out of here, girl! I cowered in fear in the cabin near me, but when I was finally up to full health, the fucker was already gone. As for the weapon customization, it's just like Fallout 4, and I thought Fallout 4's customization was awesome. Even with the exception of the ability to craft ammo in Fallout 76, it still feels like much of the same, and doesn't really innovate in this area. The only difference between Fallout 4 and 76 is that there's more weapons to craft and more mods available for different sections of almost all the weapons. To unlock unlock these mods, you have to deconstruct weapons, and you're rewarded with the new mod to craft for the weapons of that type. Then you use the junk you collect to craft those mods, but a lot of the times when you deconstruct weapons, they unlock the most redundant mods that you will never prioritize. It's almost like this was intentional to keep people playing by making them feel like they're making progress, and that brings me to the gameplay loop. You know that fun every 30 seconds theory Bungie had with Halo Combat Evolved? Fallout 76 does the same thing, but instead of 30 seconds, it's 30 minutes. You go out, explore, collect junk and weapons from the enemies you kill or containers you loot, with quests periodically until you run out of carry weight and go back to the camp and scrap it all, and repeat the same process over and over again until you get the upgrades you want or reach higher levels so you can craft more shit. The only time I ever felt like I progressed in the game was when I would craft upgrades, because you know, that's actual progress, and everything else in between felt like a waste of time. Bugs and glitches are still present, and I found plenty in the 2 weeks I played, and I even encountered a hacker. What? There was this one time where I think 6 super mutants spawned in one spot and proved to be no challenge whatsoever with a single grenade. And there was another time where the physics were absolutely mental, but I never found anything too severe where the game started to look like cankles. I was gonna say potato, but the game already looks like a potato, so I was trying to think of something worse. Yeah, the graphics in the game looked like something you would see on the original Xbox. I mean, look at this garbage. Frame rates would drop in and out far too often, and I was playing on the Xbox One X. I can't imagine how it runs on other consoles. There is that classic Fallout charm where items and objects are set up to show something funny, interesting, or somewhat morbid.
Hello, me old chum.
But there's other times where the placement of some objects I would find in the game looked flat out lazy. I was able to witness a nuke go off, and that was cool to see, even though I wasn't able to explore the blast zone because, you know, realism. So I did miss out on that, but that's okay. The only other thing I can really say is good about this game is the perk system. Perk cards are always useful, and the jokes are a nice touch when you open up the packs. But that Atom shop is still a complete fucking scam with its overpriced items. And the fact that someone can look like this by just buying the shit definitely takes me out of the universe. I know Fallout has been this quirky late 1900s post-apocalyptic future setting, but at least it kept to its roots for the most part. And now it feels like it's trying too hard to be funny while giving zero toadstools whether it's even good in the first place. Well, Bethesda, I really want to thank you. Thank you for making your game free for a week so I could do a video on it. I really appreciate the fact that I didn't have to spend my money on this crap to talk shit on your game. You had 2 weeks to win me over and you couldn't do it. And I'm not coming back to this game when you add the NPCs. Maybe in a year or two I'll try it out again, but you know, there's so many games coming out soon that I would much rather play than this dumpster fire. This is Chimp Chula signing out. I'll catch you topside.